Welcome to the Alpha Room, where we bring you all things crypto, education, and Web3. Join us tonight for Trait Night, DAO Night with Riv, Order, and Kush.
We're having fun on the spaces. It is Trait Night, and we got Order from Regardless, Kush from KDAO, and of course our boy Riv from Type Media. So yeah, Switch. I think you got a couple DMs, right? Some questions at what people wanted to talk to these guys, what questions they had about what. How do you want to do it? Like what they're into personally, and then how they're moving with the DAO, what's in their wallet, what the direction. A lot of people had questions about the DAO, but we want to kind of hear what you guys are into with traits and stuff like that, and then we'll get into the other stuff. So yeah, Switch, go ahead.
Yeah, let's do it like that because each of these individuals has not been on the panel before, and although they're representing the DAO, we'll kind of get a twofer and kind of hear their personal opinions on dogs and traits that they look for, and also kind of their thinking behind the DAO and why they accumulate particular dogs for the DAO wallet. Is it going for certain traits, or is it just trying to grab opportunities, bargains when they see them to build quantity? So I guess we can just maybe go to Order first. Order, you guys in Regardless just had something big happen a couple days ago. I see you got your gold check mark. Do you want to talk about that?
Yo, yeah, I would love to actually. Yeah, we got our gold check mark about I guess 2 or 3 months ago. But something actually big really did happen recently. We set up a business with the DAO, so that's pretty cool. Super grateful for that, and looking forward to what comes after that. But yeah, bro, we got the regardless gold check, we got the badges, and we're starting to gain a lot of momentum and a lot of traction on the page. So, it's cool to see the community supporting the sub community, and I can't wait to see what happens next, bro.
And Order, and your what do you look for when you're trying to accumulate dogs for the Regardless DAOs wallet? Is it just kind of an opportunity thing, or are you guys looking for particular dogs?
Personally, for the last time we went to accumulate, we were looking for the best bang for the buck. We were looking for the best dog for the best deal, and I think we did a really good job as compared to what the floor's at now. And what we spent on the dogs that we accumulated. So, but for future, we've been planning on deals, but traits, right? We want the ones that are low hanging fruit that have been hanging out on the floor, close to the floor, that we can get for a steal. And there's a couple snipers in the DAO. We got Jin, who's always out there trying to find the grails and snipe those grails up off the floor. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the deals, but we're looking for the traits. And there's nothing specific. I like the chains, and we got Jeezy in the DAO, but I think Jeezy's in every DAO, so he likes chains. But other than that, oh yeah, and we have all the white pointy ear dogs in the DAO, around the DAO. So
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool because obviously, Type kind of has focused on the beret as the representative trait for Type Media, and like Only the Family, OTF, kind of they most of them kind of have snapbacks now. That's kind of becoming their thing. So I didn't know if you guys had a particular trait. So you're saying it's kind of chains is sort of the Regardless trait.
So I guess putting it that way, well, the one trait that we've all got right now, or a couple of us have, GRT, myself, and Jin, is the plain white dog with a visor. There's only 9 with like no added traits and anything like that, and we've got all the ones with tall ears. As for the DAO wallet, it's just deals, and then there's people in the DAO that love chains and are picking up chains. So that's kind of our strategy.
And what are you guys up to quantity wise right now?
We're at 5 right now. We're at 5 right now.
Now, am I mistaken, or maybe a couple of weeks ago, you were alluding to something big might happen, like you guys were about to make a large purchase? It's just what I read into it. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, but like big things were coming. I don't know if that was establishing your entity or if that was like big purchases on the way.
So something big did happen. It wasn't a purchase that was coming. It was more of a contract and something that was what we set out to build the DAO. So we set out to build the DAO. We set out to build like a startup business, something that we can use to onboard people to dogs and to crypto, but also be able to flywheel money into the DAO without relying on community raises. Something that the community can go out and they can close a deal and get people to accept crypto as payment at a point of sale system, and then they collect a percentage, and then monthly for 5 years we collect 0.1% of every single sale that goes through that device, kind of like the credit card machines are doing right now. And we see value in the fact that the Clarity Act's about to pass, and people are going to be using stablecoins without even knowing it. So the 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 increase of crypto payments it's going to go up. So we saw an opportunity to kind of get in and start collecting fees from people who are using crypto as payment at retail services.
That's awesome, man. I got a quick question about your own wow. Like, do you have any traits that you like? What traits do you look for yourself besides like that's the DAO stuff, but just the order account? Like, what traits do you like? What do you maybe looking at in the future? What have you looked at in the past? I see you got the visor that's been since I've been in the community. I've always known you with that PFP. And also the second question would be are you going to DDNYC? Obviously, that's a big talk of the day today, and I'm assuming you are. Is regardless planning on doing anything? You guys have anything cooking for the event in September?
Yeah, so I like this white dog a lot. I like all the white dogs. But I like pink backgrounds. Not the rose, not the darker color pink. I like the light color pink backgrounds. I have two with the pink backgrounds, kind of like a his and hers kind of thing. I got a bone actually ranked number 75 in the collection. Both pink backgrounds. That's what I like. I'm looking for, and I like the purple background dogs. I got one of those too. But other than that, yeah, going to DDMYC 100%. And also, yes, we are planning on doing something. It's kind of under wraps right now. We've been in contact with a couple. I'll put it out as museums. We've been in contact with a couple museums to do an event. Something art related, something music related. So looking forward to it, and also looking forward to including everybody, anybody that wants to go, kind of thing. Regardless has always been something that we're open to everybody. Anybody, regardless of if you're in the DAO or a part of it monetarily, you can still come listen to the spaces, listen to the meetings, and also come to the events and stuff like that.
Pinned up top is a dog that looks like it's should be on Regardless's radar based on what you were just saying. I think it's dog 6214. It's like 3,800 USD right now. Have you guys looked at this one?
Yeah, I've seen the floor. The floor is looking good. I have seen that one sitting on the floor. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea.
That is yeah, that's a good one. But no, I do like it's funny because all the weeks that we've been doing this, you're one of the few that mentioned backgrounds. And I happen to agree with you. I think it definitely plays a part into how it looks on the timeline and what pops. And there's not a lot of people who rock the pink background, but I feel like your dog stands out with the white and the red. It just pops, man. And yeah, I think that's awesome in New York. I grew up there. So I went to a lot of museums. Like it's a very diverse cultural city. And, no matter where you're from up there, you do end up at some point, even if it's a school field trip, visiting some of these museums and getting involved in all that stuff. So I think that's cool that you're planning on something to do like that up there to involve art because there's so much cool stuff up there, so much to see. I'm sure there's going to be a packed schedule with what the guys have planned, but with whatever downtime, it is cool to do stuff like that. There's plenty of stuff there. I know the punks are in MoMA up there, which is interesting. So yeah, that's awesome, man. And yeah, Switch. Any other questions that you had for order before we get on to Kush? Because I know Riv texts me. He's in the middle of a workout. That's dedication. Even during his workout, he makes it onto trait night. I told Riv, don't ever skip leg day, not even for trait night. So we'll go to Kush next.
Hey, Kush, how are you?
Yo, what's up, guys? Not bad, not bad. Show Slick Knox and flick my switch. Loving AJ, bro,
There's a story behind that. I'll tell it really quick
for
because
sure.
a lot of people have been asking about it, obviously.
I'm
I fell
curious.
into what V lovingly called the type, um, dang it, I can't remember what she called it. It was brilliant. The type contagion, where I was in a type space, Riv space last night, and for some reason everyone started changing their names. Devin and I changed ours one too many times, and now we can't change it back to our regular name. We're kind of stuck. We don't know for how long. He's stuck with huge D, and I'm stuck with flick my switch.
Well, Flick and Huge D, according to Grok, it's about 60 days in the hole. That's what you guys will be doing. So, Flick and Huge D, you're going to have to get used to the name change. I was listening to, oh, actually, I was watching Riv's live stream. And I was like, thank God I'm not getting dragged into this. So, yeah, I woke up to a bunch of name changes. And shout out to you, Flick and Huge D. It's going to be a fun 2 months. Kush, we had you on a couple weeks ago. We were talking. Um, what do you guys got cooking with your DAO and you personally too? Like what are you into with the different traits? I guess we'll start with your personal likes for the traits and what you look at in your wallet and what you maybe plan on getting in the future. What traits catch your eye, and then we'll get into what you guys got cooking with the DAO because you kind of were one of the accounts that was up here for that real estate show that we did, which you kind of kicked off with stuff that you were talking about, and a lot of people got interested and started coming into space, and it ended up being a couple hours long, and it was really informative. So yeah, we'll start with you first before we get into the DAO.
Yeah, so I mean, personally, man, like I think my favorite trade is the pirate hat. I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to Paws down there. I see you. I love the pirate hat, bro. I think it's fire. Like, um, and like being like I'm into metal detecting, like, that I've always been like into like pirate lores and all that stuff, bro. So it's like, I just like it. I think it's a fire trade. Obviously like wizard. I have a hard time because, bro, I get attached to a lot of the traits, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'd have to say pirate is something I would definitely look into getting, right? I like my sombrero, right? Like this kind of fell into my hands, and it, like, when your dog chooses you, and it, like, it's something that's my forever dog, right? Like this is the grail that I'll have, and it doesn't really need any fancy traits. It to me, it's more of like a story, right? So I cherish it, and that's how I feel about that. But I mean, like, dude, there's so many nice traits. It's hard to really nail down one. Um, and like as far as the DAO goes, when we accumulate dogs, we never really had specific traits in mind, right? A lot of the dogs in our wallet was community members. Maybe they needed an upgrade, or they needed help with something, financially in their life, and so we stepped up and did that. In fact, I think we have old dog in our wallet too. So, but yeah, no, like it's been looking for deals, right? We like looking for rarities. I'm a fan of rarity too, right? Like I like the rarity ranking. That's kind of why when I made the evaluator, I had to have that rarity search because, like, I'm one of those guys, right? I like the rarity. I think that drives the value for me. But I mean, like, again, it's like to each their own, right? I think that everybody has their own trait that they like, and they can see themselves rocking forever. So
Feel
Bro, this
free to pin
PayDAO
that up
wallet is
there, Kush.
hectic.
oh, the
Uh,
evaluator, yeah.
Pin
Yeah.
up your calculator up there if you'd like. And Kennel Dow is doing something really interesting. You want to talk a little bit about how you guys are fractionalizing one or more of your Doginal dogs and how
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
works?
So first we started with number 188, which is a party hat dog. It just seemed, on point, get the party started, right? And the whole idea was the ethos was really behind it is there's going to be a cost barrier for people, maybe they can't afford it. And, we had this idea, it was kind of like the floor was low. They were still pretty attainable, so we just kind of held off for a bit. And it takes time, right? It takes time to build stuff and have it secure and like the security up on point and everything like that. As well as like, 3D modeling each fraction ticket and stuff like that took some time. So, and I mean, we've only had 5 of us. So, it's a lot of work, but like we keep laying the bricks, right? We keep laying the bricks. But the whole idea was to really get a lower barrier of entry point for people, kind of like a DCA into Bitcoin, but you're DCAing into Doginal Dogs, right? Um, so once you have a certain amount, I think we set at 500 fractions that you can rotate and actually become a part of the revenue generation model. And we also like started the DAO as we wanted to generate revenue. We didn't want to do the raise system. So yeah, we kind of went on that path. We've done a lot of things. We got some stuff cooking. I figure within the next couple months, you'll see some pretty big news coming up. But yeah, we're always cooking. The fractionalized the dogs, it just seemed right, it just seemed right. It seemed like the right thing to do. It helps too, like, if people want to do giveaways and stuff like that, people can buy them and give them away or whatever. I think because we started the DAO June 1st to 25. So, we're coming up on our year anniversary. So, stay tuned for that. There might be some fractions dropped and a lot of starter dogs, right? The whole thing too is for starter dogs because a lot of people work hard. Like the starter dogs sometimes work harder than the dogs, right? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they should have at least like, okay, so in our mind, crypto punks, Bored Ape, all that. If I could have bought a fraction of them, right? If I couldn't afford it, if I could have bought a fraction of one and they were selling for like 13 mil or half a mil or you know what I mean? It would have been nice to have 30% of that asset, being able to DCA in it and capitalize when the price, we all basically we set what we call a sales trigger and it's going to be voted upon. And it'll change. We want to keep it high, it's more of a long-term investment. We're not thinking about quick returns, right? So, it's not a sexy model, but it's efficient, you know what I'm saying? So,
What you said about starter dogs often working harder than regular dogs is actually it, Studio 54 is a good example of that because there are a lot of starter dogs in there kind of rocking the starter dog suit. And those guys are always on the timeline. Those guys are the ones making art for the Suit Up Sunday. They really do a lot of work. And yeah, just because you don't have an actual Doginal dog inscription doesn't mean you're not part of the community. And yes, that's a good example of starter dogs really working is in the Studio 54, which now Kennel DAO is a member of.
That was my next question, Switch. And yeah, it's true. When we started this space, Knox was a starter dog, and now he's in a beret, and Knox crushes it with the art that he does, the golden tickets, the videos that he puts out promoting the trait night, and the other. We're doing a thing with Soul on Chain with Anti, does like a real news segment followed by a giveaway where he asks questions, and whoever gets the answer right wins a Bull Bear NFT. And right now, I think the pot's up to $60, so no one's guessed it right. So that's on Tuesday. So yeah, Knox does a great job, and yeah, and it carries over to when you do get the PFP. Those starter dogs definitely work hard. And yeah, Kush, that's what my next question was. When like making deals with Switch and Type Media, like how is it collaborating with other DAOs and having a good relationship and being able to kind of like shake hands? And obviously, we're all Dojo dogs, but the sub communities and the different DAOs, I think it's important that everybody works together. I mean, we had Type Media, the Wizards, and Bo Mafia on a Sunday morning had a deal that went trending, and of course, Type Media and KDAO have a very good relationship, and Switch has that Grail beret. You guys have a suit, and you're now involved with the suits, who are definitely making moves. So, how is that collaborating with the other DAOs?
oh man, like that's the thing, right? I think that's like the biggest thing. Alone fast, together far, right? Um, and when we have collaborations like that, it just helps. Like we own share of Type Media. We got some shares in Zombie DAO. We have a lot of future plans for other DAOs and stuff. It's just we're slowly moving, right? We're slowly moving. There's only 5 of us, and like we've kind of went under the ethos of like God gave you 2 ears and one mouth, so you can listen more and talk less, right? So we get to business, and we like dealing with other DAOs, and like as like the order mentioned is POS system, like right off the bat, like I think we could actually use that within the next near future. So like there's definitely collaboration opportunities, and I think everybody really needs to work together at the end, because we're all doing this separately. I mean, you call it separately. We're not really separate, right? We're all together in this. So, when we all have something built and then we collab that together, man, we're going to be the powerhouse. Like that's just how I see it. So, I think collaboration is key. And circling back to like I was also well, I wasn't a starter dog. I was a generic dog. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but back before there was starter dogs, there was this thing called generic dogs. And we made a hack mess of them things, bro. No wonder they reeled it in with the starter dogs, because we had some we had some crazy stuff going on there, bro. Like traits that didn't exist. I had like a gold chain with a dog bone on it and everything. It was crazy.
Now, Kush, you've mentioned a couple of times that your DAO consists of 5 members. Is that something you're looking on at growing? Are you looking to recruit new members? Or are you pretty comfortable with the 5 members that you have?
Well, that's the thing. We're open, definitely. We're open to adding members. And we kind of like, again, we structured it more of like a business. Like you hear Bark echo a lot. The DAOs don't work, right? And starting out, we one of the first thing we did is start up an LLC, and start getting stuff cooking, because we started a lot of things. We created a lot of safety nets. We kind of found our group, right? um we made merch. We did all that stuff, and really wasn't like a big hit, right? So it's all about the way you approach it too. So like um where we have a lot of like experience in real estate and stuff like that, we've been really trying to nail down something real estate wise. And like we've talked about tokenizing real estate, and like that, it sounds beautiful and everything, but it's so difficult, right? Like we talked about timeshares. Timeshare seems to be the only really application that you could implement it on. And I don't really think that's going to be like the next big thing, personally. So like, baby steps, and we're approaching this like a business. So we're going to do what we have to do in order to get our foot in the door with different areas of expertise, right? So again, that's where I think everything has a place in this community, because like type media has like the marketing, the media control, like they got that down pat, right? You got regardless who's also building like tools, like real world stuff, like trying to do the web 2 web 3 thing. And that was kind of our focus as well, right? Like trying to bridge that gap. And it's not easy, right? It's not easy. And we talk about tokenized real estate a lot, but the thing that stands out to me is, you got Grant Cardone and you got Bark, Shibo, Shield, right? You got all these crypto people, money people, and real estate people. And if they don't have a tokenized asset, there's a reason for it, right? There's just something that doesn't quite work. So, you know, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel, right? We're just focusing on what we can do in the time. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, man.
Yeah, I only know of one project which ever tokenized real estate, and it's so slow. Like you get a share of the rent, etc. But you got to hold it for like, bro, it was stupid, bro. You had to hold it for like 5 years to get your initial back just off the rent, right? But obviously, the big part of it comes if they sell it, then you get a big cut of the sale. But until until they find a way to kind of like speed up the break even curve, let's call it, I think it's a big issue.
I think it's also going to be an issue if there's something in the Clarity Act that talks about brokerages and everything that could technically tie in there. I've seen that where it may actually cause issues with that, but yeah, Kush, I love your trait tool that you made. The Kindle DAO is awesome. I mean, so is Regardless. I mean, Regardless adding, real world effects to it, and you guys working with the tokenization of dogs, because I know that when I was a starter dog, I kind of had to save my money up to be able to get my dog. So it wasn't like readily available. But yeah, creating access to where people can have a part of that. Now, if they get access to this dog, are they allowed to PFP it? Am I going to see like a bunch of PFPs that are the same dog but with different people?
So we floated that idea as well, and we've come with a couple different ways. We were thinking like kind of like a watermark around the circle, like that would match the PFP inside this Twitter circle. Like you see like a kennel DAO, like kind of like a watermark. We thought maybe, after a certain amount of fractions, maybe they could PFP it's really, we're kind of like going with the flow with this one. That's because we have a bunch of dogs to do it with, but we were testing the waters, right? We're testing the waters with the first one, and it'll kind of give us more of a better feedback, right? It's going to be better feedback. Um, but yeah, that's one thing we wonder too, right? Like, is it going to be weird seeing all these? Because then at that point, how do you control who's wearing it, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
tricky one for sure.
Yeah, and what you said that, different tiers and everything. So, like, if somebody has, like, they keep buying tiers and tiers and tiers of dogs, what happens if they eventually want to purchase that dog straight outright? Or would y'all be able to sell it to them if they bought enough shares, or would they have to buy the shares of the people out, or have you guys thought about that yet?
Yeah, what we decided was it's probably going to be like, if we do a fractionalized dog, we'll have the sales trigger, what we call it. So say like, the floor's $500,000, we list it for 500,000, it sells, and everybody in the fractional holding, everybody that has that holds the fractions in proportional value will get paid out. Um, but like we weren't really thinking about being able to purchase out the dog where like the shares, because the DAO is going to hold 25%, um and for giveaways and stuff like that, and obviously to expand the treasury and stuff like that. So we kind of wanted to get some dogs. Like right now we got one, we were facilitating just like a loan. So we've looked into like loaning and stuff like that a long time ago, and we're starting to be able to do that now, in a position to do that. So um like if we have a dog that is up to be fractionalized and somebody's really interested in it, we could work out a payment plan. We could work out a payment plan. But like right now, the assets that we have, we're kind of onto them for now. Um, Accumulating more, of course. So,
Yeah. Do you
but
guys
yeah.
plan to overtake Type on the leaderboard?
Oh, geez, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. Damn.
Reel it in,
That'd be
Knox.
crazy.
Reel it in.
Really
Yeah, that's
in.
crazy. Yeah. That's crazy.
I do have a
No, we ain't trying
question
to overtake
DM
anybody.
for Kush.
You know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, go
This
ahead.
one's for Order. Order, they're asking, does your DAO have a like a council, like who kind of calls the shots, who votes on decisions within regardless?
Yeah, we have a council. There's a council of, gosh, off the top of my head, I think there's 9 people on the council. But yeah, there's a council, and then there's a DAO members group. So they're separated, but also together. But yes, the council, anything that passes through the council is something that we're deciding on doing. So
And are you guys recruiting, and what is the criteria to become part of regardless?
absolutely, we are recruiting. Well, to become a part of regardless, there's a buy-in. So we're gonna do another raise here coming up. That would be the way that people could become a part of regardless in that way. But other than that, we also do badges too, and there's a lot of badge holders that actually aren't monetarily a part of the DAO. But yeah, so that's how it's set up right now. But we are coming up on a raise.
So like Type, you guys have, Type Media, which is badges and being a member of Type Media. And then you also have, they have the Type DAO. So Regardless is set up similarly where you guys have Regardless, which is like a membership for the badges. Then you have the DAO, which people invest in or buy shares in.
Yeah, and the DAO members are going to have an opportunity to, benefit from the actual business that is going on. So the Web2 business that we've built is, well, it's kind of like both Web2, Web3, but the DAO members will have a opportunity to benefit from any money that's generated through that business.
I
The people
see
that
Riv just popped up. Riv, are
Yeah,
you available for questions now?
he was rugging. I think he's back now.
Type.
Yo, did you ask me anything when I was drugging? Or
No,
uh,
we were just waiting to make sure that you were good.
we're
You
good,
still
bro?
have any more sets, or you good to go?
Dude, we got sets till 10, brother. But I'm here. We're still here. We're
We,
Johnin, bro.
appre- we appreciate it, man. I mean, never skip a workout. I respect it. Switch did skip his shower tonight. Switch usually takes a shower during
Oh,
our
I
space.
still, I'm
Wait,
planning to in just a few minutes.
he flicked
Okay.
his switch and then he didn't even shower after that.
That's right. So yeah, this is Switch went to Miami, hung out with Type Guys Riv, and now he's flicked my switch. He's showering during the space religiously, like Chax. We hosted a whole space about mustaches. That was probably one of our biggest spaces, ironically. An IRL trait night, mustache. Who would have thought? And yeah, now we have Chax coming back in a few weeks when the stash grows out. But Riv, how you doing, buddy? I kind of have a feeling I know where your head is at with the traits. We have a similar wallet, but I have to ask what you like personally and what you're looking to do with your wallet in the future, where you're looking to head personally before we get into what you got cooking with Type, because you hold a visor beret that you're wearing and a wizard. So what else do you like? What else are you looking at in the future, buddy?
Man, you guys asked some great questions. I'll give it to you guys on these spaces. You're very well prepared. Shout out to these accounts here. But in terms of my personal wallet, I'm I'm more. I did some moving around the past couple months. I'm bullish on builders, really. And I mean, obviously, this collection is full of builders. But when I'm looking at traits, I'm looking at individual traits versus what should I pick up and what should I maybe put off till later. I'm looking at potential in people, right? The same reason, a lot of us are bullish on the dogs is, you know, because of the people behind it, right? Bark and Shiba and what they're doing and what's been built and the consistency that they show. So, right off the bat, my when I first came in this community, it wasn't really about traits for me. I wasn't really much of a trait guy. This was, you know, 2024, like mid 2024. But as I've kind of sat here for a bit, because I did have that bandana dog. I don't know who was here when I used to have that, but that was my dog for maybe 10 months. And then I started to get, okay, I need to start picking up some dogs, trail hunting and figuring out what I like. So it's changed over the course of the time. But like I said, I'm bullish on builders. So there's a reason there's a wizard in my wallet. There's a reason there's a beret in my wallet. Bullish on traits that just are rare, of course. The rarity system is a cool thing, a cool function that's really been introduced. It was always there, but it was never accurate on these other marketplaces. So, now that that's been integrated, obviously looking for some rarities is always something I'll be looking at. In terms of the DAO, did you ask about the DAO?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to see your wallet first. That's great answer. I happen to agree with you, man. I could have had more dogs in the wallet like you, but we were kind of moving in the same direction at the same time, trying to get certain traits in our wallet. And I'm glad I did. It's good to be a part of the Wizards and Type Media. It's been
Yeah.
an amazing run so far. I just got my second Wizard today, actually. It was a shellmate. Shout out to my boy Chris in the UK. That was a cool little thing that he did in the Order of 86 chat. So yeah, you never know, man. I'm with you. Hang out with builders and watch things grow. But when it comes to the Type Media DAO, obviously I'm in Type Media. I have shares in Type Media, so I have a little bit of insight as to what you guys and what we are doing and how things are moving. But what number are we now in the leaderboard, and what are the plans for type going forward? Is it always to stay in the top of the leaderboard? Do you look at certain traits? I know you have a wizard in the wallet for type media, some other really nice looking dogs as well. Are you open to trades? Are you open to trading anything in the wallet to accumulate more dogs to keep going up the leaderboard? Like, where do you see type going in terms of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of that wallet, it's a little bit of a different concept. Than my phone. Obviously, I went relative. I don't know very about myself, but with the power of the media and the marketing that we're able to it allows you to kind of do a hybrid life. Obviously, five of those sought after.
Is Riv rugged? Can you
Yeah,
guys
Yeah.
hear him?
he's rugged for
Yeah.
me too.
It's is there not Wi-Fi and Planet Fitness, Riv?
There should be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if he goes to Planet. I don't know if he goes to Planet
You know?
Fitness, but it sounds like the microphone is down your throat, barely hearing you.
Yeah, tell your Pilates instructor to hold off a second, just step out of the room. Order, I do have a question in DMs. People were asking me just while Rib gets situated. Do you guys have plans for New York, like to do a pop out for Regardless?
Yeah, we have plans to do an event. We would like to do a side event while we're there, and we're in contact with a couple museums to do that. So, looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what we were talking about earlier. I think that's cool. I definitely think that is a cool thing to do. And yeah, I think that New York definitely is going to offer that experience to check out the art and check out what's going on there. And I think, who knows, maybe there'll be a museum in New York one day of all NFT art and different styles of art, since art is forever changing and the past is definitely not the current kind of trend of what's going on. I think digital art's a great thing. Yeah, I think this collection as a whole is phenomenal. I think they did a great job with the artwork. Some collections, it's a little gory, a little graphic, but not this. Everybody loves dogs. Looks like we got Riv back up here. Riv, better connection?
I don't know. You tell me. I thought it was fine before.
No, you're good now. You're good. You were
Uh,
rugging, now you're back. So yeah, you were saying that your type wallet, um, you were looking to accumulate. Is that what you were saying? It was cutting out.
yeah. So I think for my wallet personally, I know we all know how sought after that leaderboard is. There's a leaderboard for a reason, right? But for me personally, I'm not. I ain't getting top five. I ain't getting top 10. And if I'm gonna shoot for something, I want to shoot for the top. So that's why I kind of went the Grail route. And the Grails are kind of obviously easier to PFP. You can maneuver through them a little easier. They're more popping on the timeline in terms of brandability. But with the wallet, we're with our marketing and what we've been able to do with Type Media and our reach, we've been able to successfully do these raises to the point where, yeah, we want to get in that top 20, top five. Obviously, we would, want a top wallet, but we're able to get some grails along the way. So we don't really have any preferences in terms of, what grails we get. We definitely want a piece of everything. I mean, whether it's wizards, golds, shinies, berets, bows, any trait we can really get our hands on for a good deal, we're going to make sure that happens. So, we've been able to work some deals out. Every raise, a new opportunity comes up. Or even if we're not doing a raise, we're always open to trades. If you see a couple of grails in that wallet, or even if we're looking at an entry dog in that wallet, we're always open to making moves if it puts the wallet in a better position than it was before. And we're always looking to help other people get into PFPs as well. So we do everything via council as well. So we have 7 people in the council. So anybody in that council can propose a move. That way, everybody in there has different opinions. We got DeFi in there. We got Guy in there. We got Javi in there. We got Luis in there. We got Coin in there. We got Scat in there. So everybody's got different opinions. Anybody can propose something, whether it's to pick up this trade or look into that trade or make this deal or make that deal. And every decision that we do is voted on. So, the reason that wallet is what it is today is off the strength of, not only that council and making the decisions, but the people that host our spaces and post on the timeline backing, every decision we make as a council. So yeah, it's in terms of traits, we want the grails, but we also want to be, top 5, top 3, top 1.
I'm
We
curious.
want everything.
I'm curious.
We want it all.
The partnership between Type and the Wizards. How did that come about, and about when did that come about? Because it seems to be a pretty powerful union there, and you guys have accomplished a lot.
It's a good question. You can thank the DAO that no longer exists for that one.
I just posted about him.
Oh, you did? Yeah. It's so. I think it was October, maybe the month before that. There was a lot of chatter about Type being a soup kitchen and Type doing this, and a lot of chatter about the Wizards. There's always been chatter about the Wizards, and people, YDAO, I think they had lost their badges, I think, for a month or some shit. I don't know, really badge daddy disappeared or something. I don't know, something happened with that. All of a sudden, their badges came back. They're passing them out like hotcakes, and then out of nowhere, Type is getting thrown into the mix. So Type is I think this is it. Somebody, I'm not going to name names, but they said, "We're the soup kitchen. Look at all those MFers with the Type badges. Look who they're giving badges to." Is the direct quote. And I'm thinking to myself, look who we give badges to. You know how many badges I've said no to, and people want to pay, and I've just said, "Yo, like you don't support us. Like we're not going to give you a badge even if you pay for it just because you want it." Right? So I'm thinking every motherfucker in this DAO works hard as fuck and earns their way into that badge. This shit makes no sense. And me and DeFi have always been, chatting for a bit. I saw what he was doing with the Wizards. What they did started around the same time that Type members started to come into my spaces. So I always watched him from afar and respected what he did while he got, some type of backlash or FUD or whatever the fuck you wanted to call it. So I've always respected what he did from afar, and it just so happened that day, DeFi didn't have a badge, and the Wizards had motion, we had motion, and it was like, well, why not capitalize on this momentum, capitalize on this marketing opportunity, and turn that motion into a little bit more motion, and it did wonders for both DAOs. A lot of now you'll see what maybe 8 months later you see a lot of Type members on some Wizards hats, and you see a lot of Wizard in the Type DAO. You see a Wizard on the council. You see Wizards on our spaces schedule, and the two, Johns with the most Johns at the time just decided to combine forces and make it even better and share resources. That was the most important thing, really. They had a lot of talent and a lot of resources that we could use, and likewise. So that's the best thing with the DAOs, is you guys were kind of talking about it earlier. Everybody kind of does something differently in a different way, and the cohesiveness of it, working together is what can make this thing really strong. Like with Order, with his POS Johns, and what Kush and them are doing with the fractionalizing and a bunch of tech behind what they're doing, and kind of letting people, wear the dogs and this, that, and third. And there's just so much that could be done. And not only just in terms of somebody being in another DAO, but just in terms of marketing opportunities or service opportunities, or however we can benefit each other. And for that Wizard partnership, it was definitely marketing, and it was also resources. It just happened to work out.
Yeah, it's well said, Riven. At this point, I don't even feel like it's a partnership. It's more like one, having the same traits as you. And, I feel like it's definitely a good thing. And now it has become kind of one thing, and it's good. I think it's awesome. And my next question is for DDNYC. What does Type have cooking? If you might not have it all ironed out now, you might not want a Giga Week, but I know you guys are going to do something. I know the schedule hasn't been put out yet. DeFi and Bailey aren't going to be able to make it, so I'm going to be doing a Wizard kind of lunch or dinner and schedule it around, obviously, what the guys have planned and what Type has planned. But I got to get with you on that because there's a Victorian style kind of Harry Potter theme wizard bar slash restaurant, if you will, in Manhattan. There's 2 locations, so we'll be able to go in there. I spoke to the events coordinator at that location, and they said they'd be happy to have us in there and film some content when I explained who we were. So I think New York is going to be a lot of fun. What's going on with the Type guys?
Yeah, so I think I gotta definitely get with you. Gotta get with Shield. We're definitely gonna do something. You guys saw we did in Miami. We had a whole day. It's tricky because we gotta see who's flying in, how many people are flying in, and get a head count of all the Type people that are still need to get tickets. But we're definitely gonna do a dinner and do some streaming stuff and plan some content around it. Maybe a little bit more than the dinner. We'll have some swag over there again, and yeah, it'll continue to evolve. I gotta talk to Shield on what days are available, what days are free, and wait till that schedule comes out as well. I think they said they're dropping the schedule sometime next week, and maybe the week after.
Oh, so they are going to actually drop the entire schedule pretty soon because yeah, that would
That's
be
what Barb said. Yeah,
okay.
because
That'd be
they were waiting to
extremely
see
helpful.
what the output was on the tickets and what it was going to look like before they fully booked venues. I know that Bark said that they had multiple options that they were looking at, just depending on how many people were interested and stuff like that. So now that they're kind of getting an idea of who's going to pull up, how many people are going to pull up, they'll be able to build that schedule out. I think you said maybe in a couple of weeks or something like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And once they have the schedule out, it'll make things easy, especially for the Wizard kind of meet up. We can go have a lunch or just hang out, have a couple drinks, whatever. It's flexible, kind of just an in-between thing. And yeah, I'm sure Type and you're gonna crush it. Miami was awesome. We had a great time at the breakfast. No one saw that coming. That was a movie in itself. And Chax was the star of the show. So I can't wait to hang out with everybody in Type that I met and all the people that I haven't met and all the dogs in general. But yeah, man, you guys pulled out all the stops in Miami. The dinner was awesome, getting to know everybody, talking business. We had fun. We had some serious talks, and overall, it was a great experience and made me even more bullish on Type than I already was. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait for New York. Having been from there my whole life before I moved to Florida, I feel like if you could make it there, like the saying says, you could make it anywhere. And I think a lot of attention is going to be on NFT NYC and the Doginal Dogs. And I think that's kind of where there's going to be a pivot point. There's going to be a change, whether we hit a bull market in crypto or not. I think that things are going to be different after DDNYC. I think you're going to see a lot more people coming into the community. I think you're going to see prices change. So you might want to position yourself however you feel, whether it's accumulating dogs, whether it's getting grails, because right now I actually feel like we're kind of in a grail season. I'm not sure if I would have been able to get my hands on what I have in my wallet 6 months or a year from now. That's why I did what I did. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Riv. I think that, like you said, once you kind of get the schedule and get with Shield, guy's going to cook something up. Regardless, is going to cook something up. KDAO and all the DAOs are going to crush it, and all the dogs together are going to crush it. I think it's going to be an awesome event. Good to connect, and for all you guys that have met up, like the 3 of you guys that have been in the community for a long time, I'm sure it's going to be fun for you guys to see everyone you've met, but also meet people that you haven't met because there's so many new people in the community.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please remember to visit alpharoom.net or go to our X page at alpharoomx. And also, please remember that these are all just opinions and nothing that is said is financial advice.